Today I'm going to show you how to use the Peardeck add-on for Google Slides. The AEA has purchased a full version for all school districts in Iowa. So if you had the free trial, you'll notice that your free trial is kind of ticking down, and then eventually it will just take over to the paid subscription. If you never had Peardeck before, then it will just give you, based on our domain, the free, the paid version for free. If you have any problems, you can contact me or Michael Carper to get yourself on the paid version. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need to do is open a Google Slides presentation. So I'm just going to use this one that I've already created. So you would create your Google Slides presentation, and then you can use the Peardeck add-on over top of it. I already have the add-on, so you can see here that I have it. But if you need to get the add-on, you would simply go to Add-ons, Get Add-ons, and then you would click right here for Peardeck. It has a check mark that it is already installed for me, but for you, you would just click on that to install it and allow the permissions. So once you have created your add-on, you can open the Peardeck add-on, and this toolbar will open on the right side. Now, if you notice, there is a template library here. If you open that, you will notice that there is some bell ringer type templates, some do nows, some assessment activities and transitions for during the lesson, and reflections and exit ticket type templates. So I would invite you to just kind of scroll through here when you are creating a Peardeck and see which type of slide would work well for you. In some of the testimonials from local teachers that will follow this presentation, you might see some of these templates being used. They also have some critical thinking and social emotional learning type things, and also some subject area help for our littles or for particular subject areas. I apologize that not all of the content areas are represented here, but you do have some things that you could use. Then also there are some questions that you can embed directly into your slides presentation. So I'm going to take this slide right here that I already have a question on, and I'm going to make this a text type question that would be embedded via the Peardeck system. So I'm going to click on the text. And it's going to show me that this is a text response preview, so it would look something like this on the student's device, and then when it's projected on the classroom, it will look like this. So you're going to update the slide to make it an interactive question, and this adds that question to your Peardeck. So when students see this and when they log into your Peardeck, they will be able to have this slide be interactive. So no longer would this question have to be something that we talked about in class verbally or that they wrote down on an index card. It would now be an interactive slide where they would get that question, they would type their response, and you would be able to project anonymously the responses that were given. If you notice, you have different types of questions that are there. You could drag things around. And one of our testimonial videos from Mr. Hemming shows a draggable question. There's also some choice things similar to like a Kahoot type question. You can actually add audio, record or upload audio files for your lesson. So you could do that right here via this button. And if you notice, there also is a tutorial down here about how Peardeck works. Once you're finished, you're going to start the lesson. And you can decide about, and you can always change this. You can decide, is this going to be a student paced lesson? So maybe for their virtual day, their continuous learning day, you want students to work through a PowerPoint, like in a flipped classroom scenario, and you want to see and check for understanding. You could choose this to be a self-paced activity, or you could choose it to be an instructor-paced activity where it would be in real time. You could use it virtually. So for the kids at home, for the class in person, synchronous learning, I'm going to choose instructor-paced activity right now. And now it is loading our Google presentation and launching it into the Peardeck. So remember, I just have that one question. So this is the code that you would project so that your students can connect to that presentation. And so it would be waiting for students. You could also send students a link. So if you wanted to put that in Google Classroom, you could do that. And then you can also open the teacher dashboard, and the teacher dashboard will show you who has answered the question, what the class information is. So the teacher dashboard here will allow you to privately view the individual student responses. When they're projected, they are anonymous. So obviously it says keep this window off the projector to keep students' responses anonymous. When you project the student responses, they are anonymous. When you open your dashboard, you can see who has responded in what way. That is part of the paid full version. You can also use this on your phone or tablet by opening the teacher dashboard, and you can get the Peardeck app if you are interested. So this is the code that the students would go to, enter that code to connect to the lesson. And this is what the lesson on the dashboard will look like. And remember, we made slide 3 into a Peardeck slide. And so it's waiting for my students to respond. So if I had 5 students that responded, that would give me it up here. You could open the roster of students that have joined this particular presentation. You can lock their screens. You can add a new prompt there. You can also make it full screen. You can open the projector in a new tab, turn on the self-paced instead of the instructor-paced, or you could end this particular session from the teacher dashboard. So it took my existing slide that I had already created in my Spanish 4 slideshow here, and it created it as a Peardeck, and it would give you all of the information for this particular slide. So on my Google slide, then we're going to go back. Let's say that I also wanted them to give me some background information from the readings that they had done the night before, and maybe I wanted to go into the template library for that. I could go and do a bell ringer, and I could ask them, what did you learn from the homework? And make this slide here a what did you learn from the homework slide. So it would put that right in here as a template. It's already created for you. Or you could just take your existing slide that you already have and make it into a question slide by clicking here. Okay, so if it's a text, I want them to give me some information, I would make this particular slide a text question. So just to review that, you could use some of the templates that are already created and type your question right in there, or you could have your slide with existing questions on it and simply make it into a question slide by choosing one of these question slides. There's a lot to Peardeck, and as you will see later in this PowerPoint presentation, we're going to link some things so that you can go back and review. But just to get started, you can take any existing PowerPoint or Google Slides and make it into a Peardeck.